This is Robert Plank from WPCrusher.com, and I want to show you a quick and easy WordPress setup because, the fact is, it's my ultimate goal for you to have a WordPress website set up. That way you can begin using all the amazing plugins and just point and click your way into the website that you want. But sometimes people say, I'm so overwhelmed with WordPress. I don't get it. I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I need this whole list of 20 plugins. Well, I want to show you how to set it up the easy way, and I'm going to begin by first listing you a bunch of steps which might not make a lot of sense at first, but it probably will once you see it in action. Then step 2, I'll show you a website I just set up today in a few minutes and a few clicks. And then number 3, I'll set up a brand new website with you. And I hope you're excited because I am. So here's the thing, is that with WordPress, we like to use this area called your cPanel or your control panel to set it up. That way we can click a button and then we have a WordPress website ready to go. That is blank, but we can begin adding in some content, begin adding in some links, choose the design we want, and just take a few baby steps to get from here to there. So we're going to go to what's called our control panel, our cPanel. We'll look for an icon that says to build a new WordPress site, and I'll even show you how to delete it later if you want. And once your site is set up, you can choose a theme, and that way you have control over how it looks, keeping in mind that you can always change it later. That's what's great about WordPress, is you set up all your stuff, and then if later on you want to throw out what's there and just click a button, you can have totally new colors, fonts, layout, everything, but then keep the other content and the sidebars and everything else that you already set up. It's pretty easy. So we'll choose that theme, and then we'll add a few posts. We'll just grab some YouTube videos. That way you can see how easy it is to have some existing content. That way your site can look established even though you just set it up today. Then we'll add some pages, a little bit of navigation like an about page, a contact page, and you're going to be amazed at how easy it is to just set some of these links here at the top. So we have a home link and a link to our product. It's very easy to set that sort of thing up. And then we'll add in some navigation, so we'll make it so that on the sidebar here, we can see our recent posts, some of our categories, and we can add any links that we want. And that way we look like a site that helps people to get to where they want to go. So for example, I found a website the other day called, it was like the untemplate lifestyle or something like that, and I was like, I don't get it, what's untemplater? So I ended up on this random article, and I was like, well, I'm not really sure what I'm even looking at, and they have this link here that says, are you new here? And you click on it, and then it tells you what the site's all about. And so by having control over your navigation, you can choose what links appear here, and you can have your about page, your contact us page, things like that. So anyway, it's easy to drag and drop and get things the way that you want them to look. And something that so many people overlook, and even a lot of WordPress tutorials overlook, in fact, I've never seen a tutorial explain this, is to how to add a signature underneath each of your posts. Because you have a blog, you worked hard on adding videos and content, but don't you want to have links underneath each one, taking people back to your free report or your website? Well, this is called a signature link, and you add one free plugin and it's completely on there. And then we're going to make it so that people can't spam our blog with new comments. And then I'll show you, as we wrap up, how to totally customize the site by adding in your own logo, your own CSS. And much like you'll see with most things in WordPress, half the battle is just knowing what to click, where to go, where things are. So let's get to it, and let me, as I promised, let me show you what I just set up a few minutes ago. I set up this blog called the WP Crusher blog, and any .com domain name website you have, any product you sell, you should probably set up the name of your website /blog and have a little bit of free content. That way it builds the backlinks, it builds up a bit of a history, a reputation of your site, and it just provides all kinds of new ways, new paths for people to find you and then go from that free information to buy something from you or to opt into your list, something like that. So you should always set up whatever the name of your site is, .com/blog, and here's what we set up here. We set up this theme, and if you're curious about it, it's a $100 theme per year, I think, called Marketer's Delight. And we have this set up, and we can, so about half of the things you do in your WordPress experience, you just click on this customize button, and you can make changes to your site and see how they end up. So we click on customize, and right here on this customize screen, we can change our theme, we can change the name of our site, add a logo, change colors, add CSS, all kinds of things like that. And it also adds these pencils to it as well. And that means that if we're not sure how to get to some areas, like if we're not sure how to change this search box, we can just click on the pencil, and then it takes us right here. And then we can just say search site maybe. And as we type, the title appears right here. Or we can decide, I'll leave this blank. Or we can, if we don't like recent posts, we can say something like recently updated, and then maybe we want to have 10 posts or more, and then let's add the post date. That way people see when we updated things. I don't like how that looks. Uncheck post date. So I hope that makes sense. And then these changes are not yet live. And that's what's great about the customizer. And we show you this in our WPCrusher.com course, is that you can change things on your site. And if you don't like the changes, you can just X out of that and totally undo what you did, and no one's the wiser. Or if you say, I've got my site to the way I want it, you click publish, and then now those things you did to make your site look the way that you want, now that's online. And the next thing to know about WordPress is that anytime you want to log in, you type in WP-admin, WP-admin, and then you can log in, and after you've entered your username and password, you can edit. This is called the back end of your site, and you can go to different areas. And if you're done with that and you want to see how your site looks, you go up to this home icon, click visit site, and now you're back at your site. And if you say, okay, I like the way the site looks, let me go back to change things, go up here to dashboard, and then you're back at your dashboard. So that's how you can flip-flop, go back and forth on your site. And then when you're at your site, you can click into an individual post, and then you can see that when this only shows up when we're in a post. When we click into it, now we can click on this edit post, and then we can change this post and update it when we're done. And if we want to see how this looks in the end, click on view post, and you're back to viewing it as a person. So this black bar at the top is the way for you to flip-flop between the front end and the back end, and even log out once you are done. So we go to this dashboard, and as I said, the theme I use is a paid one called Marketer's Delight, and I only have 2 plugins on here right now to get all the functionality I want. I have that add signature plugin in order to have a link underneath each post, and I have this classic editor plugin, which is basically my way of keeping things simple, because you might have heard about this thing called Gutenberg with WordPress 5 that makes the editor really crazy. And if you like the old school way of doing things, at least for now, you can add this classic editor plugin. And then what I've done is in this add signature plugin, I added some HTML gobbledygook, some code to link back to my WP Crusher site, linking to WPCrusher.com. And then I check all these boxes here to just display it underneath all of my content. So now everywhere we go, now we can visit the site, and there is a link back to my website underneath every single piece of content. The other thing to know about the backend of WordPress is that there's this post section where we added in our content, our journal entries. We have this pages section where we might add our about page or our contact form, and that's pretty much it. Then the other thing, I guess, are the menus, where you can add lists of links, which could be, for example, a list of links to maybe your books or your websites, and you put that group on your sidebar. Or a menu could be a list of links for navigation, like your home, about, contact page, and then that might appear left to right instead of top to bottom on your site. So when you think of menus, just think lists of links that could either be top to bottom on your sidebar or left to right on the top of your site. And then widgets are basically the blocks, the boxes of your sidebar. So we go to widgets, and here we say we want a search box on the top of our site, then list recent posts, then list our categories, and you can add literally anything with a widget. So for example, you can add an opt-in box, your Aweber, your MailChimp code onto your sidebar using widgets. So that's a little bit of clicking around and showing you what I already have set up on an existing WordPress site, but let's create a site from scratch. Let's assume that you already grabbed a .com domain name. You already parked it on web hosting, and maybe your web host can help you with some of that. Maybe with your web host you can buy a domain name, or you can tell your web host, I already bought my domain name, help me point it to the server. And if all goes well, you end up with this blank looking website. And this is membershipnewbie.com. This is my test site. I use this to set up new sites, and this is a convenient way for me to go from nothing to having a site set up. So we have this website, but make sure whatever web host you have, you get a cPanel host. So we recommend doubleagenthosting.com, but you can go to membershipnewbie.com, or the name of your website.com, right? example.com/cpanel, CPANEL. And this is the way to install WordPress on your website. Give that a second to let us log in here. So I'll log in to my control panel, my cPanel, and yours might look a little different. That's okay, but you're looking for some sort of a WordPress icon. So it might just say WordPress, or it might say build a new WordPress site. You might have to scroll around to find it, and it might be quick install instead, but in my case, build a new WordPress site is right there. I left click that, and then they ask, where should we install it? So here we have membershipnewbie.com set up, and I'm just going to install it on the root top level of my site. Membership Newbie, that's the site. And if you already have something there, you can do /blog or something like that. But we're going to do just membershipnewbie.com, and then we'll click on next. Maybe I needed to add a slash there. Okay, so that's good to know, is that if they won't let you leave it empty, just add a slash. And then we enter these things. We say, what's the name of our blog? What's our username? I like to do my first and last name, no spaces. Enter my first and last name and enter our email address. That way it will send us the information. You don't have to pay any kind of money to install this. Just fill in these 5 pieces of information, click on install, and now they are doing their thing, and they might show you some ads. You might have to say no thanks, but they will put a WordPress site right there where they said they would. And here we go, flashing my password on the screen, but don't worry, I'll delete this site after I have this set up. So at membershipnewbie.com, we have this WordPress site here. So we'll click on membershipnewbie.com, and here it is, and they say website coming soon. And so what we're going to do is go to our site /wp-admin, wp-admin. That's always how you get into that back end. And then I'll enter that username and password that I previously created. We'll log in, and whoa, they loaded up all kinds of stuff. And so in this case, I wasn't expecting this, to be honest. They gave me a ton of plugins here. So I'll just go to plugins. I'll check this box to select all these and deactivate all the above. And by the way, I already plugged it before, but if you need some step-by-step, more in-depth stuff, wpcrusher.com is our course, so we have a little bit more time to show you everything. And then I'll select all these and delete this, and that way we're just starting with a brand new, no plugins, nothing on it, not all this bloat. It's just going to be a regular WordPress site. So visit the site, Membership Newbie, just another WordPress site, And there we go. We're all set up. So what did we say we were doing in our checklist here? We were saying that we installed this in our cPanel and click on build a new WordPress site. And I promised you that I would show you how to delete it later on if you want. So membership newbie / cPanel. I'll go back to my cPanel section. And if you ever want to delete this site or start over, here's what you can do once I get logged back in. What you can do is go to Website Essentials, My Installs, and uninstall if you ever need to back out, get out of what you set up here. So that's where you go for that, just so you know. Website Essentials, My Installs. But anyway, we have our site set up. And as we said, we can go to Membership Newbie, or you can go to your site dashboard and get to this back end. We can go to Appearance Themes and then choose the theme that we want for our site. So if we don't like what comes with WordPress by default, you can click on Add New Theme, and they give you a lot of choices as far as, do you want something simple? Do you want something that has videos and a lot of pictures? Do you want to do a job board? So we'll just go with this Ritz theme. That looks simple enough. So we installed it, we activated it, and then we can see how that looks. Visit the site, and now it looks completely different. So I still don't like it, and I'll click on Customize. Then under Active Theme, change it. And then I like 2016 instead. Simple enough. Now here's how our site will look. Activate and publish, and now our changes are live. And if you ever want to change something, many times you just click on the pencil. So if we don't like this just another WordPress site, we can change the tagline to Membership Site Tutorials. And then change that. So we've set up WordPress, we've added our theme, and then now we want to add in a little bit of content because we see there's this hello world here and we don't like that. So we'll X out of this customizer, go to the dashboard, go to posts, and here's where this hello world is, so we'll trash that. All right, so now the content's gone, but we need to add in some filler content, a few things here already. So we'll go to a site called youtube.com and you'll search for whatever your site is about, guitar lessons, how to unclog a sink, whatever it is. So let's say WordPress membership or WordPress membership tutorial. So we'll grab this MemberPress video and then we'll find something all about the top 10 plugins for WordPress and then MemberPress. All right, so we've chosen 3 YouTube videos, and then we'll go to posts, add new. Then we'll say, actually before we do that, in my checklist here, what we had, let me show this to you again. We chose the theme. We're going to go to settings, permalinks, and we're going to make sure that our link structure is the way that we want it. So let me go to settings, permalinks. And then we want this to be post name because you see by default, well, a minute ago, they tried to make it where if it's our site / index.php, all the stuff, we want it to be just post name. Save changes. And now we're going to go to new post again, or post add new, sorry. And then we want to add a post, but there's all this stuff with these blocks. So we want to add our first plugin. We want to add the classic editor plugin. So we go to plugins, add new. And then here's this classic editor plugin. If you don't see it, just search classic editor, click install now. Give that a second, activate. And then now when we go to post add new, now it's really simple, right? Just the title and what is going to be the content here. So we're going to say how to create a WordPress membership site, MemberPress. So we'll just title this, create a WordPress membership site with MemberPress. And what about the content? Well, here's why YouTube's really easy. Right click this YouTube link, go to copy, go to the contents, and whoops, right click copy, go back to these contents, right click and paste. And in a second, see how the YouTube link just changed into a video. So now we have a post and a video here. Then click on publish, but there's going to be one thing we don't like all that much. We can see that the link on this is really long, membership newbies / create -a WordPress site. So we can click edit, and then we can change this link where this post lives. And now it's just membershipnewbie.com / memberpress. We update that. And now when we view our whole site, the front page of our site, the very first thing is create a WordPress membership site with MemberPress. And we just posted it, and here's the video for that. So first step is done. But let's add a couple of more posts. So we'll close that thing we added. And then here someone said top 10 plugins for WordPress. So we'll copy that. We'll go to posts, add new. And we'll say top 10 plugins, top 10 must have WordPress plugins. Then grab the link, paste it in, and then you can also change the date. So maybe we can say we posted this last month, so that way our site looks like it has been around for a while. So we'll publish that, and then we'll say, and then if we don't like the links, we'll I guess I like how that link is.
Hello everyone.
And then for this one, we'll say set up a WordPress site in 5 minutes. So we'll go posts, add new again. And then we'll say set up a WordPress site in membership site in 5 minutes. Paste that in. Whoops, paste in the link. So right click copy, go back, right click and paste. And then we'll say this is membershipnewbie.com / setup - membership - site. And let's say we don't want this live right now. You click on edit the date, and we'll make this come out a month from now. So now this content will not be available, but on when March 10th rolls around, then boom, now that site will be live, or that post will be live on our site. So now we have, if we go back to our posts screen, we have something that we published just now, something that we set to be back in the past, and then something that will come out soon into the future. So now when we view our site, we see that in the middle here, the most important part, we have some content for our site. But maybe we want to have navigation for other things. So for that, we'll go back to our dashboard and we'll add pages. So posts is content, pages are navigation. Click on pages, and there's a few things like a sample page. Let's just delete everything that there is and then start from scratch. So trash. And then we'll add 2 pages. We'll say here's the about page, and we'll say here's my bio, and then we'll have that at our site /about and publish that as a page. So notice how a page has, even though it shows when we published it, there's no date attached to it. It's just when is our about page. There's no when, it's our about page. And then we can say we'll add new, and then we'll say contact. And then we could add a contact form member. For now, let's just say my contact, like email address and physical mailing address. So we publish that contact page, and I'm not sure that these will be, so these aren't linked yet. There's no way to get to them, but they exist. We can go to our site /about. And then here's our about page with my bio. We can go to our site /contact, and the page is there. We just haven't linked to it anywhere, if that makes sense. So maybe at the top, because someone can click on the title of our site, but maybe at the top here, we want a way to go to the home page, go to that about page, go to that contact page, and for that, we will play with our navigation. So the first thing I noticed about our navigation here is how you might not like how this here says categories uncategorized. So maybe we'll set this to tips or tutorials, or how about news? So we'll go to our dashboard, go to Posts Categories, and instead of this being uncategorized, click Quick Edit, say News, News. And we have 2 posts in the news category. And if you want to have other ways to categorize your post, if you want to say that this post is a personal message or this post is a video tutorial, you can create all these categories. But now when you visit the site, now we see that here's the news category, and we can just list all the posts that are news related. And so that's great for categorizing our posts, but let's add some navigation for our to get to some of those pages. So here's what we'll do is we'll say appearance, menus, and then I always call this navigation, create menu, and then on the left here we can say I'll add a contact and about. I'll add both of those to my menu, and then we'll rearrange these the way that we want. And then it asks also, where will this appear? And so this might be called your primary menu or your main menu. So we'll check and set this to the primary menu and save the menu. Go back and view the site. And now you see that on the top right, now we have these links, the about page, the contact page. And so I also want to have a link to the home page. So we'll go back to our menus. And then we'll also say a custom link. We'll link this to, in this case, membership newbie is the site I set up, and we'll say home, click add to menu, and then we can just drag this before these, click save menu, and then go to visit site. And here we go, home page, about page, contact page, any other page you want, like the one that says, are you new here? And you can always click on customize, and you can even wait for this to load up and click on the pencil here, and then you can edit the menu, and we can change this on the fly and see how we're rearranging the contact and the about order. We can change all of this stuff up on the fly any way that we want it right there before our eyes. And one final tweak I want to show you is, let's say you want to link to one of your paid products and you want that to open in a new window. We can go to menus, and then we can say custom link. I want to link to wpcrusher.com, and we'll say WP Crusher course or master WordPress. Click on add to menu, and then you can pop this open. But we're like, well, I want this to open in a new window, but there's no checkbox for that. How do I do that? We can go to this top right, drop down screen options, click on link target. So there's a couple things to remember, sort of weird, right? Screen options, link target. And we scroll back down. Now they've enabled this open link in a new tab checkbox. So I know I zoomed through that, but screen options, link target, open a link in new tab. Don't forget to save that menu. And now when we visit the site, now we have the navigation. And if we click on this link, now this one happens to open in a new tab. So pretty useful, right? And then, so the other thing we want to do is maybe control some of the links on the side here. And for that, we'll go to our widgets. So go back to your dashboard and go to appearance widgets. And then here's where we can choose. Well, I like that there's a search box. I like that there's recent posts, but I don't like that I'm not going to deal with comments. So I'll delete the list of comments, and I don't really care about this, whatever this meta thing is. And I guess I'll keep the archives in there. So then when we visit the site again, now we have recent posts and we have a few less things in this area. And so if we go back to those widgets area, you can drag in this custom HTML. So you can drag this in, and let's say that you're building a mailing list. You can say subscribe to newsletter, and then you can enter copy and, copy and paste code given by MailChimp or Aweber. Click on save. So we just dragged in the custom HTML widget. We visit the site, leave that site, and now here, see on the sidebar, you can paste any sort of HTML code that is given to you. So that's pretty useful. But then maybe we want to link to some of our other sites. So for that, we go to Appearance, Menus, and then I'll click on Create a New Menu. We'll call this one Resources. Click Create Menu to finish that. And then we'll add a few custom links. So I'll add, in my case, I'll add a link to my podcast. So we'll say Marketer of the Day podcast. I'll have a link to my book. So Marketer of the Day book. And then we'll link to WordPress Crusher. So WordPress Crusher course. Add to menu. And then if we want to have those links open in new tabs, pop out, open link in new tab, pop out, open link in new tab, pop out, open link in new tab, and save menu. Now the menu is created and we want to add that to our sidebar. We go to Appearance, Widgets, and then we're looking for Navigation menu, drag it over, and we'll add it just under that search box. We'll title this Resources and choose the Resources menu. Click on Save, view the site. And now here we have these resources of our podcast, our book, our course. You can click on those and they open in new tabs. So that's how we add our navigation. We customize the categories, we set up a menu, we added it in for a widget. And the last thing I want to do as far as navigation goes is I want to add a link underneath each of these posts here. So for that, we go back to our dashboard. We go to Plugins, Add New. And I like to use one called MPV Add Signature. And here it is, Add Signature Reloaded. Click Install Now. Installed, activate. Then we go to Settings, MVP, Add Signature. And then you check all of these boxes here. That way it appears everywhere. Go to Visit Your Site. And now here, there's this written by, visit website. So this appears under every single post now. So to customize that, we go to our dashboard, go to Settings, MPV, Add Signature, and then I'll delete all these other ones. So delete, delete, delete. And then we'll say WP Crusher Online Course Master WordPress with Easy Videos. And that's just some text. And if you'll indulge me for a second to add in some scary, crazy HTML code, I'll say a link to WP Crusher. And then I'll make this open in a new tab. And then I will put some H3 tags around it. So if you don't know HTML, I apologize, but that is the way to get that signature. Update options. Be careful not to click load default options. That'll reset it to the regular settings. Go to visit site. And now under every post, we have this signature link. And maybe we'll center that. I'll go back to the signature settings. H3 align equals center. Update options, visit the sites. There we go. So now these links, so now underneath every single post, it links back to our site. And so as we're winding down, just a couple of small tweaks. One thing is go back to our dashboard and go to settings, discussion. Settings, discussion. And the only thing I really change here is allow people to post comments on new articles. I uncheck that. So by default, people can't spam your site with comments. And this way you won't be getting all these notifications of people trying to spam you. And this only takes effect for future posts you add. So we can go back to our posts here and we can quick edit and uncheck allow comments, uncheck allow pings. Go to this other one, uncheck allow comments, uncheck allow pings. This last one, uncheck allow comments, uncheck allow pings. And now when we visit the site, we're basically done, right? We have a site, we have content, we have our posts, we have links, navigation, we have things in the sidebar, we link to our other resources, we have links to our posts, people can search. So now we are just ready to do whatever else that we want to do, such as add more content or get the links dialed in, or maybe find a better theme. And one thing you might want to do is maybe add your own logo or add your own CSS code, if you know what that is. And this customize button gets you basically anywhere that you want to go for that. So if you want to change your header image, if you want to upload a logo, it'll appear right in there. If you want to play around with any CSS code, you can say, maybe I want to have a pink background. See how it just appeared right there. If we wanted to have a lime green background, it appeared right there. So you can have total control over how your site looks if you know a little bit of that advanced CSS, and that is just available through the customizer. Click on customize and then play around and see what happens. And what you can do is try to break your site or do all kinds of weird stuff with your site. And if you don't like the changes you made, like if you say, oh no, what happened? I clicked on that. I'm not sure what's going on here. If you don't like the way your site ended up looking, you can click on this X mark and it will back out, it'll undo, nothing will change. But then if you click on customize and you say to yourself, well, let me go to my CSS, and I don't like this black background, but I know a little bit of CSS code and I want my background color to be gray. Maybe I like that better. I'm happy with it. I click on publish, and now that change is permanent. So I know we zoomed around a ton of different things, but I just want to recap for you really quickly. We used cPanel to install WordPress. We chose our theme by going to Appearance, Customize. And one thing I want to insert in here is whenever you need to log back into your site, go to your site /wp-admin, ADMIN. And then we choose the theme. We add some posts by just grabbing some YouTube videos. We added pages like our about page, our contact page, and then we connected it all together by creating some menus for the top navigation. We created a menu for some recommended resources and put that in the sidebar widgets. And then we added this MVP signature plugin, so that way we can have a link under each of our posts. And speaking of plugins, we also installed the Classic Editor plugin to make things a little simpler on us if we didn't like any of those blocks or that weird Gutenberg stuff, if you know what that is. And then finally, we unchecked the ability for people to post comments, and we saw that we can always go back to customize to make most changes, to change up our site name, our logo, our colors, anything like that. Customize gets us most of the way there. And if you need to get further past this point, then do us a favor and check out WPCrusher.com, which is our online course for setting up, using, mastering WordPress. As you can see, you can click around and get it to do most things that you want. Anything from changing the design, securing it, adding a pop-up, adding a quiz, making it into a membership site, a job board, a podcast site. All these things are possible in WordPress as long as you know what to do, where to go, what things are named, and where to find them. So WPCrusher.com. I'm Robert Plank. Have a nice one, and thank you.